What's going on? Dre here, Harrison Family Values, the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please, before you go any further, thank you so much for watching. If you're first time here, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the bell notification so it'll let you know when I upload new videos or when I go live. And hit the like button. It'll let you to know that this is a video worth sharing, especially with the topic that we're going to be talking about today. Provisions. Provider. Being a man. Men, you are called by God to be the provider of your families. You may not like this, but it's the truth. God, the creator, expects you to provide for your family, to be the leader, to be the protector, to be the provider. This is for you. Now, you're probably saying, Dre, like, why don't you just talk to the women? Like, what about the women? Stop with the whataboutisms, okay? Every time I say something on this channel, whether it's talking about men, we have men saying, well, what about the women? And then if I say anything topic pertaining to women, I have the women saying, well, what about the men? Stop with the whataboutisms, okay? Just hear what I'm saying. And if it applies to you, just try to apply it into your life, okay? All right, so I'm not here to hear about the whataboutisms, what about the men? Man, you're called to be a provider, okay? And if you are vetting the woman correctly, okay, you would have no problem providing for the woman that you chose to be your wife. But if you have decided to use the vanity metrics in order to find somebody, you are probably going to find somebody that does not understand what provision is all about, okay? Now, this topic of provision is a hot topic for men because provision is subjective, right? It's like, how much should a man have to make in society in order for him to be a good provider for a woman? How much? Nobody can really answer that, okay? Women are very different. They don't all believe the same things. They don't all value the same things. So what you would need to provide for somebody like Rihanna might be different from somebody like you meet from around the corner, right? Somebody who lives around the corner from you. Might be very different, okay? But at the end of the day, we have to identify what is actual provision, okay? Now, the Tonight Conversation, Tripp Fontane, he has a good mind on him, right? He's a thinker, and I appreciate his takes on a lot of things. Do I agree with him on everything? No, I don't. But I think him being on the Tonight Conversation provides a mature perspective of relationship dynamics, okay? I like him on this, all right? And honestly, I would not even consider watching, because I haven't watched any of the tonight's conversations, okay? I'm not a hater, but there's something about Ace Metaphor. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. There's something that's there, I don't know, right? But he was able to collectively bring people together to have these conversations. So shout out to Ace Metaphor for being able to do that. He's not necessarily my cup of tea, but what he's doing is bringing a diverse group of people to have conversations. So let's say I'm not really too into Ace Metaphor's take on things. I got a brother like Tripp Fontane that I can listen to on that panel and be like, you know what, I can rock with this kind of situation. So shout out to tonight's conversation for doing this. Now, I don't agree with a lot of their the end goals because I'm a Christian here on this channel. We talk about Christian topics and faith, family, fatherhood, manhood, and marriage. They don't encourage people to get married. Ace Metaphor even said in a conversation he had with Tony, I forgot his last name, but it was on Hardly Initiated. Shout out to Hardly Initiated. That he knows some people don't want to get married. And again, if you don't want to get married and you're just out there for recreational, intimate activities, I can't rock with that. And he tends to support that. So, which is, again, but in regards to this topic of provision, what does provision look like? And now to the ladies, do you even know what provision actually is? That's loud. Now, this is one of those hot topics that people don't like to talk about. Provision is not a man being able to buy everything that you want. And I think this take by Tripp Fontane, he did an excellent job in communicating this. Okay, he did. So This is not meant to trigger. This is meant to get you guys thinking about the topic of provisions and how you choose your man, because your man can make a lot of money but be a lousy provider. Okay. Or he can make basic minimum income. I can't say if he makes minimum income, he'll be the greatest provider. So let me not, but again, based on your values, it could be, right? But what actually is provision, all right? So let's see what Tripp Fontane has to say about this, because I got to be honest with you. His take on this, I agree with.
Provision is not money. Provision is infrastructure. If a man has the ability, the mind, the mental sharpness, and the fortitude to come into your life and provide real infrastructure, then he is a provider. There are seasons in a person's life where they 50 might not look like half the bills, but if he shows up in other ways to supplement and make it make sense, you got to understand that. And I'm sorry, ladies, I'm not sending this as a shot to discourage you, sending it as a shot to wake up. If the only thing you know of provision is a paycheck, then you know nothing of it. If that's what you think a man being a provider is, you have no clue what a real provider is supposed to do. That's why so many kept women are lonely.
Yeah, he didn't lie. He didn't lie. Yeah, he didn't lie at all. Provision's not money. He says that provision is infrastructure set up, and he's got a point there. Now, you can set up an infrastructure, but you got to be able to operate within it for it to work, right? People have systems in place, right? The problem with this whole topic, because I've heard this before, people don't fail, systems fail. And I don't necessarily agree with that, because of course it takes people to run a system. And let's say like a couple of years ago, this whole hot topic of the government system is racist, right? I'm probably going to get flagged for that, right? The system itself isn't racist. It's the people that might be operating within the system is racist. And that's the situation. That's the issue. That's the issue. So if people in the system if they believe a certain way and they are discriminating against, the system necessarily isn't discriminative. It's the people within it that runs the system. You can have, like in education, right? People say, the educational system is messed up. No, the educational system isn't messed up. It's the people within the educational system that's messed up. We got people, for instance, right? We have non-educators telling educators how to be educators. So yeah, so if you say the educational system is messed up, it's not because the system is necessarily bad. It's because the people that's running the system, they don't need to be. Okay, so in a home, if you have a system set up that is meant to provide, you have to understand that provision looks like that system meant to provide for the family. The family. Okay, man could provide for his family, but not be the greatest in getting his wife what she wants. He might need to work on that. But that's not necessarily him being a bad provider. That might just him being a lousy husband, right? Not a bad provider, just lousy husband. All right. Wife wants to do certain things. He doesn't want to. Doesn't make him a bad provider. It makes him a lousy husband. So, he's absolutely right there when it comes to provision. We got to stop looking at provision simply as he's got to have this amount of money, because him having this amount of money may not make him a good provider. It might make him fun to have around on occasion. But once you get married, you got to look for a man who is looking to be a provider. If you are a man and you're looking to get married, you have to look at a woman who understands what provision really is. And if she thinks that provision is simply about you buying her what she wants, then you might not have chosen the right person. And you might have to, this is why the vetting process is very important. Very important. Okay. Now, am I saying not to buy your wife whatever she wants? I'm not saying, I'm saying, if she likes and appreciates gifts and you have it, why not get it? Or this, you can't afford it right now. Okay. Because you got bills to pay. Set aside some money so that you're able to do what it is that she likes or what it is that she wants, or get what she wants. That will make you a good husband in the process of you being a good provider. This is not popular take. Some of you men are going to be like, oh, Dre's simping on here. It's not simping. You want to be a husband, you want to have a family, because these guys all over the red pill and manifest space talk about how the nuclear family is the bedrock of civilization. None of them are out there trying to encourage nuclear family for sure. Like they're not having a nuclear family. They're out there playing women and then gaslighting everyone to believe that they actually believe that the nuclear family is a bedrock of civilization, which it is, but they're not operating like that because they're being hypocrites. And I'm not going to shy away from saying that. If you believe that the family, the nuclear family is a bedrock of civilization, but you're out there playing with women, you are a hypocrite. Like it or not. So you need to make some changes. All right? But if you are out there and you believe that the nuclear family is a bedrock of civilization, and you believe in the home system of, the father being the provider, the husband being the provider, protector, the priest, all that stuff, and you want to be that role, understand that finding somebody that would understand the process of, or the process of what it means to be a provider actually is going to help you for sure. And if you're a lady out there, just pivot your thinking about what it means to be a provider. It's not about buying you whatever you want. It's not about, you being flued out, because most guys who fly you out, they're not really good providers. They just want to play with you. Yeah. No, it is, right? And it's a biblical mandate. This is not something that is negotiable. It's a biblical mandate for the husband and the father to be the provider. There's no if and buts about it. Okay, and you can, if you want, talk to me about it and try to convince me otherwise. You'll never convince me otherwise. Never. Okay, but at the same time, we have to identify what provisions really is. At least what provisions look like from a biblical perspective, from a godly perspective, and then build from there. All right. I'm Dre. This is Harrison Family Values Podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. And yeah, man, if you'd like to support the channel, consider buying some of the merch items that we have down below. All right. I love you all. God bless. And thank you so much for watching. And until the next upload or live stream, we out. Peace.